Take a moment now to simply arrive. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to become, and nothing you need to fix. This moment, exactly as it is already enough. Let your attention gently turn inward like a soft light warming from the inside out. Feel the subtle shift that happens when you stop reaching forward and stop pulling backward, and instead rest right here. Begin by noticing your breath, not changing it yet, just becoming aware of it. Notice how the breath arrives on its own and leaves on its own, guided by an intelligence far older and wiser than conscious thought. Feel the gentle rise of the chest or the expansion of the belly, and then the natural release as the breath flows out. There is no effort required. Breathing is already happening for you. As you observe the breath, allow it to become a bridge between the outer world and your inner space. With each inhale, you are welcoming yourself home. With each exhale, you are letting go of whatever you no longer need to carry into this moment. If thoughts arise, and they will, simply notice them the way you might notice clouds drifting across the sky. You don't need to chase them, analyze them, or push them away. Awareness itself is enough. Now gently invite the body to soften. Notice the forehead and let it smooth. Notice the space around the eyes, allowing it to relax. Let the jaw loosen, the tongue resting easily in the mouth. These small releases send a powerful message to the nervous system that it is safe to slow down. As the shoulders drop away from the ears, feel the weight you've been carrying begin to dissolve, not through force, but through permission. Bring your awareness down through the body, sensing rather than thinking. Feel the chest and heart area, noticing any sensations without labeling them. Perhaps there is warmth, tightness, openness, or simply neutrality. Whatever is present is welcome. As awareness touches these sensations, they begin to shift naturally, just as ice melts when exposed to sunlight. Feel the breath moving through the center of the body, gently massaging from the inside. Each inhale brings freshness. Each exhale brings release. If your mind wanders into the past or reaches into the future, gently guide it back, not with judgment, but with kindness. This returning is not a failure, it is the practice itself. Every return strengthens your connection to the present moment. Now notice the contact points between your body and the surface beneath you. Feel how the earth supports you without effort. You don't have to hold yourself up. You are being held. Allow this sense of support to deepen your relaxation. The body knows how to rest when the mind stops interfering. As you continue to arrive, begin to sense the space around the body. Not just the physical form, but the subtle field of awareness that surrounds and permeates it. You are not just a body breathing, you are the awareness noticing the breath. This awareness is calm, steady, and untouched by the fluctuations of thought. Rest here for a few moments, simply being. In this space, time begins to soften. The urgency of doing fades, and the simplicity of being comes forward. There is a natural intelligence unfolding within you, recalibrating, restoring balance, without any instruction from the thinking mind. Trust this process. It has been with you since before language, before memory, before identity. If you notice restlessness or resistance, meet it with curiosity. What does it feel like in the body? Where does it live? As you bring gentle attention to it, notice how it begins to change. Awareness is not passive, it is quietly transformative. Simply by being present, you are creating the conditions for healing and clarity. Now allow the breath to deepen slightly, not by force but by invitation. Inhale through the nose, feeling the breath travel all the way down into the body. Exhale slowly, as if you are releasing a long-held sigh. With each breath, you sink a little more fully into now. With each breath, you remember that peace is not something you need to achieve, it is something you uncover. Let yourself rest in this arrival. No striving, no fixing, no story, just this breath, this body, this awareness. This is the doorway to everything that follows, the foundation upon which calm, healing, and clarity naturally arise. And as you rest here fully present, feel the quiet power of simply being, knowing that in this moment, you have already arrived. Now that you have arrived, allow your awareness to gently turn toward whatever you may be carrying within. There is no need to search for anything specific. Simply notice what naturally comes into view when the mind becomes quiet. Thoughts, emotions, memories, and sensations may begin to surface, not because something is wrong, but because the space is finally safe enough for them to be seen. Begin by recognizing that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are events that move through awareness, not definitions of who you are. As each thought appears, silently acknowledge it and allow it to pass like a leaf floating on a slow moving stream. There is no need to hold on and no need to push away. Effort creates tension, observation creates freedom. You may notice emotions rising with these thoughts, subtle or strong. Perhaps there is sadness, worry, longing, or fatigue. Instead of naming or judging these feelings, feel them directly in the body. Where do they live? In the chest, the belly, the throat, the shoulders. Let your attention rest there gently, as if your awareness were a compassionate hand offering reassurance. Emotions soften when they are met without resistance. As you continue to observe, you may become aware of stories the mind tells. Stories about the past, about the future, about who you should be or what should have happened. Notice how these narratives tighten the body and contract the breath. Now imagine loosening your grip on these stories, just slightly. You don't have to erase them or rewrite them. Simply stop feeding them with attention. When attention withdraws, their hold naturally weakens. Allow the breath to assist in this release. With each inhale, bring awareness to the present moment. With each exhale, let something fall away. An expectation, a regret, a worry. You don't need to decide what to release. The body and mind already know. Trust their wisdom. Release happens not through effort, but through surrender. You may notice a tendency to resist certain feelings or to rush past discomfort. See if you can stay just a little longer, breathing into the sensation. Resistance is often what keeps emotional weight in place. When resistance dissolves, energy begins to move. What once felt heavy may start to feel spacious, or at least less defined. This is the beginning of transformation. Notice now the quality of awareness itself. It is open, vast, and unburdened. Even when thoughts and emotions arise, awareness remains untouched, like the sky holding passing weather. Rest as this awareness. From here, nothing needs to be suppressed or controlled. Everything is allowed to be exactly as it is, and in that allowance, change naturally unfolds. If the mind becomes active again, gently return to the sensation of breathing and the feeling of the body. Let the breath anchor you as you continue releasing mental and emotional weight. Each return is an act of kindness. Each moment of noticing is a moment of healing. You may begin to sense a lightness emerging, subtle at first. This lightness is not something new being added, but something old being released. What remains is clarity, openness, and a quiet sense of ease. Allow this feeling to expand without trying to hold on to it. Grasping creates tension, allowing creates flow. As you rest in this state, recognize that releasing does not mean forgetting or denying your experiences. It means no longer letting them define or limit you. The past loses its grip when it is met with awareness rather than resistance. The future loses its anxiety when it is no longer imagined through fear. Stay here for a few breaths, noticing the simplicity of this moment. No burden to carry, no story to uphold, no role to perform. Just awareness, breathing, being. This is your natural state, always available beneath the layers of mental and emotional noise. And as the weight continues to dissolve, allow yourself to feel the freedom of this release, knowing that every time you return to awareness, you return to yourself. As the mind grows quieter and the emotional weight softens, you may begin to notice a deeper quality of stillness emerging beneath everything. This stillness is not the absence of experience, but the presence of something vast and calm that has always been here. You don't need to create it or search for it. It reveals itself naturally when you stop interfering. Allow yourself to rest in this quiet space. Notice how silence is not empty. It feels alive, aware, and gently supportive. Thoughts may still arise at the edges of awareness, but they no longer demand your attention. They come and go like distant echoes, while you remain rooted in a deeper calm. Let yourself be curious about this stillness, not as an idea, but as a felt experience. Bring your attention to the space between breaths. After the exhale completes and before the next inhale begins, there is a natural pause. Rest there, even if only for a moment. In that pause, time seems to soften. The mind loosens its grip and awareness expands. You are not doing anything in this space. You are simply being. As you rest, notice how the body responds to stillness. Muscles relax further, the heartbeat settles into a steady rhythm, and the nervous system receives the message that it is safe to rest. Healing does not require effort. It happens most deeply when the system is allowed to return to balance on its own. You may begin to sense that stillness is not separate from you. It is not something you visit and then leave. It is the foundation of your experience, the quiet background upon which every thought, sensation, and emotion appears. When you rest here, you are resting in your own essence. If the mind tries to label this experience or turn it into something to achieve, gently let that go. Labels belong to thought, and thought cannot fully capture this space. Stay with the feeling of being aware rather than the idea of awareness. This subtle shift opens the door to deeper peace. Notice now the spaciousness within awareness. It feels wide, open, and unconfined. There is room for everything, yet nothing weighs you down. Even sensations in the body feel less solid, more like gentle waves moving through a vast ocean. You are not the waves, you are the ocean that holds them. Allow yourself to trust this stillness. You don't need to monitor it or protect it. The moment you stop trying to hold on to it, it naturally deepens. Effort dissolves and presence remains. This is where clarity arises without thinking and insight emerges without force. Rest here for a few moments longer, allowing the quiet to permeate every layer of your being. Feel it in the breath, in the heartbeat, in the space behind the eyes. Let it fill the body and extend beyond it. Stillness is not confined to one location. It is everywhere you allow yourself to be fully present. In this resting, something profound happens. The sense of separation softens. You may feel less like an individual struggling through experience and more like awareness itself, witnessing life unfold. This perspective brings a natural sense of compassion, ease, and connection. If at any point the mind becomes restless, simply notice that restlessness within the stillness. Even movement can be held in quiet awareness. There is nothing that needs to be excluded. Stillness is spacious enough to include everything. As you remain here, you may sense that this inner quiet has a gentle intelligence. It knows how to restore, how to recalibrate, how to guide without words. When you rest in stillness, you align with this intelligence. This alignment is what allows healing to unfold naturally, without effort or struggle. Let yourself remain here just a little longer, not waiting for anything, not trying to get anywhere. This moment is complete in itself. This stillness is not a temporary state, it is a reminder of what is always available beneath the surface of activity. And as you rest in this deep quiet, feel the natural healing that arises simply from being present. As you remain in this quiet awareness, allow your attention to gently include the body, not as something separate from awareness, but as an expression of it. The body has been listening this entire time. Every shift in breath, every moment of stillness, every release of thought has been received as a signal of safety. Now, without effort, the body begins to respond. Notice how restoration does not feel dramatic or forced. It feels subtle, intelligent, and deeply natural. The nervous system, no longer bracing or anticipating, begins to settle into balance. Breathing becomes smoother. The heartbeat finds its own calm rhythm. Muscles release patterns of holding that may have been present for far longer than you realized. You don't need to tell the body how to heal, it already knows. Bring awareness gently through the body, not to analyze, but to acknowledge. Feel the scalp and face softening, the neck releasing, the shoulders melting downward. As awareness touches each area, it invites ease. This invitation is enough. There is no effort required to restore balance, only the willingness to allow it. Notice the flow of breath moving through the body like a gentle wave. With each inhale, there is nourishment. With each exhale, there is release. Imagine the breath carrying a message of coherence to every cell, reminding the body of its natural state of harmony. This is not imagination as fantasy, but imagination as a bridge between awareness and physiology. As you continue resting, you may sense subtle sensations, warmth, tingling, pulsation, or spaciousness. These are signs of energy moving freely, of systems communicating again without interference. Let these sensations be exactly as they are. There is no need to chase them or make meaning of them. Simply noticing allows the process to continue. If discomfort or tightness appears anywhere, meet it with curiosity rather than concern. Bring awareness there as if you were listening deeply. Often, the body holds tension not because it is broken, but because it has been trying to protect you. As awareness arrives without judgment, that protective holding can finally soften. What was once guarded can now rest. Feel how the body is supported by the surface beneath you. There is nothing to hold up, nothing to brace against. Gravity is doing the work. Allow yourself to be fully supported. This physical support mirrors the deeper support of awareness itself, always present, always holding you. You may begin to sense the body as a field of sensations rather than a solid structure. Boundaries soften. The distinction between inside and outside becomes less defined. In this openness, restoration happens at a deeper level, beyond symptoms and labels, at the level of balance and wholeness. Notice how effort naturally dissolves. You are not trying to relax, relaxation is happening. You are not trying to heal, healing is unfolding. When the mind steps aside, the body's innate intelligence takes the lead. This intelligence is precise, responsive, and perfectly attuned to what is needed in each moment. Stay with this experience, allowing the body to continue its quiet work. Even moments of stillness between sensations are meaningful. In those moments, the system integrates, recalibrates, and renews itself. Trust this timing. The body does not rush. It restores in its own rhythm. If thoughts arise again, gently return to sensing the body and the breath. Let sensation anchor you in the present moment, where restoration is always available. The present is where the body lives. When awareness stays here, the body feels seen and supported. As this sense of ease spreads, notice how it influences the mind as well. Calm in the body invites calm in thought. The entire system begins to move in coherence, each part responding to the same message of safety and balance. Allow yourself to rest in this state, knowing that even after this moment, the effects continue. The body remembers. It carries this imprint of ease forward, influencing how you move, breathe, and respond in the world. And as you remain here, feel the quiet certainty that healing is not something you do, but something that happens when you allow yourself to return to balance. As this time of stillness begins to gently complete itself, allow your awareness to widen and include the understanding that what you are experiencing is not limited to this moment. The quiet you have touched is not something you leave behind when you open your eyes. It is something you carry with you, something that moves with you into every breath, every step, every interaction. Begin by noticing how this sense of calm feels in the body now. Notice the ease in the breath, the softness in the muscles, the clarity in awareness. Let yourself recognize these sensations as familiar, not temporary. This is the body and mind remembering their natural rhythm. The more often you return to this state, the more accessible it becomes, even in the midst of daily life. Imagine moving through your day with this quiet presence intact. See yourself speaking, listening, working, and resting, all from this grounded place. Notice how responses become more thoughtful, how reactions soften, how choices feel more aligned. When awareness is present, life flows with less friction. You are no longer pushing against each moment, you are moving with it. Understand that carrying this quiet does not mean withdrawing from life. It means meeting life fully, without the noise of constant mental commentary. In this space, you are more available, more compassionate, more creative. Stillness does not diminish action, it refines it. As you go about your day, there will be moments when old patterns return. The mind may rush, the body may tense, emotions may rise. When this happens, see it not as a setback, but as an invitation. A single conscious breath, a brief pause, a moment of noticing is enough to reconnect. You don't need to recreate the entire experience. A small return restores the whole. Let the breath become your anchor in daily life. Each inhale is an opportunity to arrive. Each exhale is an opportunity to release. Even in the middle of activity, the breath quietly reminds you that presence is always available. This simple awareness transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for balance. Notice how this inner quiet influences your relationships. When you listen from presence, you hear more than words. When you speak from stillness, your words carry clarity and kindness. Even silence becomes meaningful. In this way, the calm you cultivate within naturally extends outward, touching others without effort. As you continue integrating this state, you may find that challenges are met with greater resilience. You respond rather than react. You pause before judging. You trust yourself more deeply. This trust arises not from control, but from connection to awareness itself. Allow yourself to move slowly as you transition back. There is no rush to re-engage fully. Let the eyes open gently when they are ready. Let movement return gradually. Carry the same quality of attention into these simple actions. The way you open your eyes can be as mindful as the way you breathe. Recognize that this practice is not confined to formal meditation. It lives in the spaces between tasks, in moments of waiting, in the simple act of noticing. Each time you choose awareness, you reinforce this connection. Each time you pause, you strengthen the habit of presence. As you step back into the flow of your day, know that this quiet is not fragile. It is resilient, adaptable, and always accessible. You do not lose it by being busy. You remember it by being present. Let this understanding settle gently. You are not separate from stillness. You are an expression of it, moving through the world in human form. And as you continue forward, carry this quiet confidence with you, knowing that wherever you go, the calm you've touched remains within.